What's going on, everyone? Darkwater here, and welcome back to Model Railway Easily 2. This is our second video of the three-part series of this multiple biomed board. Last time we've got the left-hand side with all the greenery. Now we're working on the desert portion. Uh, Decided to go ahead and roll in with some of the trains, getting those on the track. I took a look at some of the graffiti ones. I like them, but it didn't fit necessarily what I wanted it to be. So we do the passenger one on the outer track. That's going to go between the two biomes. We do the freight on the inner one, and getting the game to recognize uh, which track I wanted it on was a lot more painful than I wanted it to be. In fact, we end up with a car in the water here in just a second. There we go, and I could not get it out, so it lives there now. Maybe it's just the remnants of a tragic train accident from years past. But we get some cars on the freight train, and again, trying to get all of them onto the correct track is it's something else sometimes. And now we're doing the freight train on the uh, desert side. And again, this just goes just a short loop around on the desert half. No interaction with the other side. You can see the water there on the bottom right corner. I do eventually take that out and do a little bit more kind of a wash look, like a dried up wash, and I think that works a little bit better. So we get all the trains running. I think it looks pretty good, and then we'll start to come through and do a little bit more finishing work on the desert side. As I was going through the desert side, there comes a point that I was looking at it, and I thought there were cacti, but apparently there are not cacti. Um, So I do a little bit of just plants in there, but not a whole lot. Uh, Fight with the train track and the terrain for just a minute here. Sometimes the track's just not matching up with the terrain. But I leave a little bit of a bridge before the tunnel, which is where the wash is. Do a little bit of various painting here. I decided to stay away from the dark brown muddy one. Just use the darkening brush to darken it a little bit in some spots. One of the two bridges there that you see to be like right next to each other, but it just doesn't work that well whenever you're going straight into two tunnels. I think if there was a longer run, it would be okay. Like a longer run onto just flat ground. And so whenever I run another one of these, maybe that'll be something I do. But we get some bridge supports underneath it to at least have you give a little bit of support so your train doesn't derail into the cavernous area. And now we just spend a little bit of time doing a little bit of roughening the area here, just to give it a little bit more personality, I guess. Make it a little bit more realistic looking. Again, if I had some cacti, it would probably look a lot better. Add in some rocks. Add in just a few plants. I tried that terrain patch. The rocks are okay, but I think eventually it kind of fills in. Took a look at some of the buildings, and it just nothing said desert to me. So we just left this just as kind of a scenic desert view, if you will. Just adding some rocks, and then we do a little bit more terrain work to kind of finish through the desert half here. Get a couple hills, and then do a little bit more hills in between the two tracks, and then start to put the wash in a little bit. I debated about moving the track, but yeah, just not gonna happen. You might be able to catch a quick glimpse in the very far back. The pillars did shift as soon as you start to do any kind of terrain work. Those pillars drop down, so I believe I fixed those at some point in the very near future. But yeah, just do a little bit more terrain work, a little bit of darkening here and there, and then get a couple plants just to get things filled out a little bit better. But there will be a few cinematics after this, and then next time we will work on the forested half. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. And as always, I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.